What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. And today's episode, we're going to be going through the Cincinnati Bengals 2021 schedule, going through every team, going through every game, giving you my initial thoughts, my thoughts on what teams are going to beat, what teams are going to lose to. So make sure to drop it down in the comment section below what you think their record is going to be, and let me know if you disagree or agree with anything that I've said. So if you do end up enjoying this video, make sure to put a like and subscribe on the video. It means big time to me. I'm really going for 1,000 before the playoffs. Big push, but we can do it. You guys are awesome. This community is awesome. So let's get right into predicting this schedule. So week one, they're at home versus the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are a really good offensive team. The Bengals are a young and upcoming team. The Vikings are still, they're kind of hanging on by a thread a little bit, but they're kind of not. They're one of those really weird teams in the NFL. How is the defense going to be? It's going to be more healthy, but I'm not a huge fan of the defense. I do like some players in that defense. Harrison Smith. Um, I don't know if Anthony Barr is still there at Kendricks. Daniel Hunter. They have a few guys on that defense that is still really good. But what are they going to do? I think that the Vikings are going to take this first matchup versus the Cincinnati Bengals. The Vikings have a really good offense. They can run the ball. They can throw the ball. Kirk Cousins is a little better than some people give him credit for, but both defenses are not high tier, but I do think the Bengals is a little better. But I think that Minnesota offense being a bit better, is going to make the difference. Yeah, the Bengals have some really good weapons, really good quarterback, young and upcoming quarterback, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, Higgins. They have some really good weapons, and CJ Uzomah is really underrated, and I do like Joe Mixon. But I think that the Minnesota Vikings are going to beat them week one. Week two, the Bengals travel to Chicago to play the Bears. I think this is going to be a fun game as well. But I'm gonna take the Bears. Yeah, man. The Bengals. The Bengals. They're like a weird team, man. They're young. Like I said, they're young and upcoming. I don't think they're ready yet, and they're gonna struggle to beat teams with good defenses. I think Joe Burrow is still gonna struggle with teams against good defenses, good pass rushes, because I'm not a big fan of that offense line. I'm really not. Riley Reeve, it's okay. I know they drafted Jackson Carman. I believe they drafted. Um, I'm just not a big fan of this offensive line right now. I need to see more. Week three, yeah. So I'm taking the Bears week two. I think that Chicago Bears defense is going to do enough to beat them. It's just what I'm going to take. I don't think I'm not a big fan of that Bears offense, but I think that defense is going to be able to hold them enough. Week three, they're heading to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. The Steelers are a really weird team as well. Quarterback depends on the quarterback, how the quarterback's going to play. Big Ben, is he going to play like the second half or the first half? That's a big thing. I think the defense is going to take a bit of a step back. Will the pass rush? I don't know. Maybe. I'm going to take the Steelers in this one though. I'm going to take the Steelers over the Bengals in the Week 3 matchup. It's just, man, I know 0-3 is not what your guys' expectations are, but I'm going to take the Steelers the first time around. Week 4, they're at home versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Um, the Jaguars are a good team as well. Their defense is going to be better. Their offense is going to be a little better. But I'm going to take the Bengals in a good game here. I think this is going to be a really good game, and I think that Joe Burrow, the guy being in the league a little longer, having a little more weapons, having a little more, a little more of a team. I guess you can't really say that. Trevor Lawrence has a bit of a team around him as well. They both have really good teams around them, decent teams at that. Um, but I'm going to take the guy who has already been in the league for a little while. Um, Yeah, don't get me wrong. Trevor Lawrence is really good, man. Really good, and that offense is going to be really good, and that defense is going to be really good. But I think this is a game where they're going to struggle. Maybe not necessarily struggle. It's just going to be a fun game to watch. Really good offensive game, and I'm taking the Bengals. Week 5, they're at home versus the Green Bay Packers. Now, it kind of depends. If Aaron Rodgers is playing, I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers. If Jordan Love is playing, I'm still probably going to take the Green Bay Packers, but it'll be closer. But that Packers defense is still really good. The run defense has gotten a lot better. The pass defense has gotten really good. The Packers team has a decent team around Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers, whoever's going to play. But if Jordan Love is there, that team is still decent. So I think I'm going to take the Packers either way. I'm going to take the Packers beating the Bengals. Week 6 at the Detroit Lions. I'm going to take the Bengals here. Not a big fan of the Lions, man. They have a pretty good offensive line. I will say that. But other than that, I do like the running back. Jared Goff is on and off. He's cold. He's hot. The wide receivers aren't enough to scare me. The defense, I'm not a big fan of the defense right now, not yet at least. So I'm gonna take the Bengals in that Week 6 matchup against the Lions. Week 7 at the Baltimore Ravens. I'm gonna take the Ravens in this one. Yeah, that Ravens defensive line is still solid, and that offensive line is gonna struggle. Joe Burrow is gonna be running a lot in that game. I think. I think that Bengals is a good team, man. Uh, but at the same time, they still work to do. They still have some places on that roster. They still need some work, or they're just a bit young yet. So I'm taking the Ravens in the first matchup in Week 7. Week 8 at the New York Jets. This game could go back and forth. This is a really hard game to predict because the Jets have a pretty decent team. You know, maybe not decent, but like they have young players, they have a lot of potential. But I think that this Bengals team is a little further along than the Jets, so I'm going to take the Bengals versus the New York Jets. I'm not a big fan of the Jets cornerbacks, wide receivers. Their linebackers and CJ Mosley is going to be coming back though. Their defensive line is actually improving. I think their defensive line is decent, so that can maybe limit Joe Mixon a bit. But you don't know. Maybe the Jets do beat them. But I think this is a game that can go either way, no matter what. Because the Bengals are okay in the trenches. The Jets are pretty good. They're getting better in the trenches, better than the Bengals, I think. And then it's kind of the opposite way around. I think the Bengals are better at the receiving core, and I think the Jets are worse at the cornerback position as well. The Bengals have like average, maybe average guys at cornerback, but not crazy guys that could, maybe get the job done. At least aren't going to be a liability. So I'm going to take the Bengals secondary, but I'm going to take the no, I'm going to yeah. I actually am going to take the Bengals secondary, and yeah, the Jets are better in the trenches a little bit, but I think that the Bengals are better, with wide receiver and cornerback. Yeah, I would normally take the trenches, but I just think that the Bengals coming out of this one, it's still a regular season, still, yeah, it's the end of October, but I'm gonna take the Bengals in this one, man. Week 9 at home versus the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are a really good team this year. They're going to be a powerhouse. They're going to be forced to be reckoned with. It's going to be really hard to beat them. I don't care who you are. So I'm going to take the Cleveland Browns in this game. Week 10 is the bye week. Decent bye week. Not too early. The later the bye week, the better. I think. The more rest you get. But Week 10 bye week. Week 11, you're traveling to Las Vegas to play the Raiders. This can be a really good game as well. But I'm going to take the Raiders in this game. Yeah, this is a hard game to predict as well. You know, I'm not as high on the Raiders as other people are. I don't think they're as balanced as some people think. I think they still have a lot they need to work on. I'm not a big Trayvon Mullen fan. I'm not a big Damon Arnett fan. Although I do like Trayvon Mullen, like Jonathan Abrams. The defense is okay. And then I think the offense has some solid guys. Carr, Waller, Jacobs, Renfro. I do like Hunter Renfro. They did sign John Brown as well. I do like John Brown. He could kind of maybe be the Nelson Aguilar of last year. He's a good deep threat. Um, Other than that, man, I'm not a big fan of this Raiders team, but I think I'm still gonna take the Raiders in this one because I think like I said, the Bengals are still young and upcoming. They're still trying to figure things out, and I think they're still gonna get a pretty decent pick next year. Week 12, they're at home versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm actually gonna take them in this matchup. I'm gonna take the Bengals at home versus the Steelers the second time around. I think that this offensive line is going to be a little more ready now that they've had quite a few games. Coming off the bye week not too long ago. Yeah, they are coming from Las Vegas to Pittsburgh, so that kind of sucks. But nonetheless, I think that offensive line is going to figure some things out by now. Maybe some things, and maybe they hold off that pressure just enough for Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T Higgins to get open, and maybe Joe Mixon runs on them a little bit. And I think that defense, it all depends on that Pittsburgh Steelers offense. How is Big Ben going to do? That's the big question. So until I know, it's going to be very difficult to predict them as well. So I'm going to take the Bengals in the second time around. Week 13, they're at home once again versus the Los Angeles Chargers. I am going to take the Chargers in this one. The Chargers are another young and upcoming team. Kind of similar to the Bengals, if you ask me. But I do think that the Chargers are a little more further along. Um, I don't know who I'd pick. I was about to say Joe Herbert, Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert. Two really good quarterbacks, two really young quarterbacks. Who showed a lot of promise last year. Can Justin Herbert continue his successes? Can Joe Burrow come back from that ACL and continue his successes? We don't know, but I'm gonna take the Chargers in this one. I think the Chargers have a little more of a better team. Both young teams that are hungry, but I think the Chargers are a little more further along. Week 14, they're at home versus the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners are, a decent team as well. I think this is a game that the Bengals can definitely win because, the Niners have, their defense line isn't as good as it was a few years ago. If you ask me, I don't think they are. Um, the wide receivers, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, that's a decent duo as long as they can stay healthy. The quarterback situation, I'm not scared of Jimmy G. I'm not scared of his throwing. I think I don't know. I wouldn't be scared of Trey Lance too much, but this Bengals team is still developing, so I'm gonna take the Niners in this game. Week 15 at the Denver Broncos. I'm gonna take the Denver Broncos in this game. The Broncos are really, really good. The roster is really solid. I think that defense is gonna give Burrow some troubles. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna take Denver this one. I think Denver's gonna be able to run it on them as well and keep that offense off the field anyways. So I'm gonna take the Denver Broncos in this one. Week 16, they're at home versus the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to give them a loss there. As we know, the Ravens are a really good team, man. I think the Ravens are going to sweep them. I'm not trying to say that the Bengals completely suck, and they don't. They do not. They just have a lot of really young talent that, it's going to take a little while to learn. But, once they do start blooming, they are going to be really good. So maybe they do start blooming a little early, but I don't think so. I think they take this loss versus Baltimore. Week 17 at home versus the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to give the Kansas City Chiefs this one as well. Not gonna spend too much time on this one. It's just a game that you're probably gonna lose. Patrick Mahomes, that Chiefs team, reigning Super Bowl, reigning former Super Bowls teams. It's gonna be a really hard game for the Bengals to win. But maybe they pull out an upset versus Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. You never know. Maybe they do, but you never know. I'm gonna take the Chiefs in that one. Week 18 at the Cleveland Browns. I think I'm gonna take the Browns in this one again. The Browns are a powerhouse. They're a Super Bowl contender. I think they're a little more further along than the Bengals, if you ask me. So I have the Bengals, losing to Minnesota, losing to Chicago, losing to Pittsburgh, beating Jacksonville, losing to Green Bay, beating Detroit, losing to Baltimore, beating New York, the Jets, losing to Cleveland twice, beat losing to the Raiders, but they could win that one as well. They could win the Vikings one as well. They could win the Chicago one. They could maybe beat the Pittsburgh Steelers twice, but I think that's a bit. I think that's gonna be difficult. It's maybe a little out of the limits if you ask me. Um, I think they're gonna lose to the Chargers. They could beat the Niners if you ask me, but I'm gonna take the bank. I'm gonna take the Niners in that one. I'm gonna take the Broncos, Baltimore, Kansas City, and the Browns again. So yeah, man, this schedule is tough. This schedule is really tough. They have a lot of really good teams. They play the Ravens twice. They play the Browns twice. The Pittsburgh Steelers are decent. They're not crazy, but they're decent. They get the job done. Um, Denver Broncos are a solid roster. The Niners, if their quarterbacks play really well, they're going to be really good. I think the Chargers are up and coming. I think the Raiders is a team that they could beat. They could really beat any team. That's the truth. Any team could beat any team in the NFL on any given Sunday. But I'm just giving you my most realistic, my honest thoughts on their schedule and who I think they're going to beat, who I think they're going to lose to. So I thank you for tuning into the JDW Sports Talk Show. That's all I have for today. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you did enjoy this video. As always, I will catch you guys next time.